Howdy, y'all. So, Exodus chapter 1, verses 17 through 19. The first protesters. So check it out. Pharaoh, as I said in the other one, Pharaoh had already set a decree to kill all male Hebrews, brought in, ordered the midwives to kill them. And that's another video, check that out. But this is how the midwives reacted. They were the first protesters, and this is what they did and their reasoning. But the midwives feared God and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said to them, Why have you done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. I'm going to keep going a couple more verses. So, verse 20. Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. That means these midwives started to get establishment. So not only the first protesters, but now the first women actually getting their own houses to do things. So not only first protesters, but I would say, by golly, the first feminist-based movement, if you will, and being rewarded in Egypt way back in the day by their own people. But they're in a land that don't respect that. So they're protesting. And so what happens? Pharaoh says, all right, he charged everybody then, all his people, saying, Every son that is born you shall cast into the river. That's the river Nile, to be chomped on by them big old crocodiles. Yeah, just toss your son in there. Doesn't matter now. He's talking to Egyptians and Hebrews. And every daughter you shall save alive. That's a decree for the whole land. After that, that's why Moses was stuck into a basket, went out into the river, and Pharaoh's family found it, and it's another story. So there it is. The first protesters, the first women to really be recognized that I've seen historically in their own profession, enough to have their own house, means their own establishment. So anyways, in their own family, like if I'm not mistaken, that also means their lineage started to count. The women's lineage started to count, which is fair, right? So anyways, peace of the Lord be with you. Whoop, whoop.